welcome to a new video on my channel. My name is Audrey and I am a knitwear designer from the southwest of France. Hi, thank you so much for joining me for this new video. So, on this channel I usually do creative podcasts where I share my mostly knitting projects. But this video is not going to be that. I will be presenting my newest design, which will be put in a form of a mystery knit-along. So, if you are looking for a more regular podcast, please feel free to look at the previous one, which I have uploaded just a few days ago. It will be easy to find on my channel. But if you are interested in taking part of the Mystery KAL, or if you are just curious, I will be going over everything in this video. So, I will put in the description in the video, under the video, links to the pattern first of all. So the pattern is available for purchase on Ravelry and PayHip, so you will find the links to that in the description. I also put timestamps for all the different sections of this video, so I will be explaining everything from what is a mystery knit-along, what is the project that I am proposing that we do, I'm not proposing, offering that we knit all together, and what yarns you must use with everything. All the information that you will need will be in this video. Everything that I say is already written on the pattern pages. So in the pattern page on Ravelry, in the pattern page on my PayHip store, you have pretty much everything that I'm going to cover in this video. So you can already go and have a look at that. But for those of you who prefer more of a spoken form and video presentation, I will basically be covering everything here as well. So, I have my little notebook with everything so that I do not forget anything. So, yeah, I will start with the presentation. So, first of all, what's a mystery knit-along for those of you who don't know, who have never done one? Basically, a knit-along is sort of a little group event where a few knitters gather to knit a certain project all together at the same time. So we all support each other, we all share our projects, our yarns, and there can be some chats happening in some Ravelry forums, on Instagram through hashtags, and basically everyone is like chatting and wooing and ahhing at the projects of everyone else. And so this is what a knit-along is knitting the same projects all together. Now, a mystery knit-along is when a designer puts a pattern for sale and you don't know what it is. Well, you know a few things about what it is so that you kind of know if it will be something that you will enjoy, but you do not see the project, and the information about how it will look like is kept to a minimum so that you knit the project as a surprise, a bit blindly. So the way this works is that the pattern is for sale via the designer's platforms, in my case Ravelry and PayHip, and as of now, July 30th, I think, when you're seeing this video, the pattern is up for sale. When you buy the pattern, you get a little discount for the duration of the mystery knit-along. So the pattern will be at a sale, and then once the mystery knit-along is finished, it will go back up to its normal pattern price. So I'm not giving specific numbers because it depends on your currency, on any tax that you have to pay, so it makes zero sense if I give you the price that I put, because it's not what you're ending up paying. But roughly it's about a 25% to 30% discount on the price that you get if you get the pattern during the mystery knit-along. So the pattern is up for sale now, but when you buy it, what you get is a presentation, a PDF, a little introduction, which sums up all the information that I am giving you now, and that's it for now. Now, in 3 weeks, I went American like this, in 3 weeks, you will get the first clue. The pattern will be revealed step by step. The first clue will be published on August 21st, so that is when you will have the first step of the design, so you can start knitting on it. And from there on, every week there will be a new clue. So every Friday, well, or Thursday evening, because on one of them I will be traveling, but every end of the week, each week from August 21st, you will have a new clue. A new portion of the pattern will be revealed. So there will be, in my case, 6 clues. So it will run from August 21st to October 2nd. And on October 2nd, you will have had all the clues of the pattern. You will see the whole design completed, and the pattern will be fully released. Basically, you will have all the design pictures and everything, and the pattern will revert back to its normal price, and the mystery knit along will be over. But the principle is that every week you have a new little part of the design that is being revealed, and that we can all knit together at the same time. So that is the principle of the knit along. So like I said, in my case, you now have all the information available to you so that you can prepare for the start. First clue drops August 21st, and then once every Friday for the whole 6 clues of the design. Now, I have to give you a little bit of information about this design so that you can sort of tell if it's something that you are going to like. I want to insist very clearly that if you have any doubt, if you have been disappointed by Mystery Knit Along in the past, if you don't want to take the risk, if you're unsure about what I'm saying, if you're like, I don't know, some things are not quite my taste, or like if you are not so much into the mystery thing, you do not have to join, okay? Like I said, the pattern will be at a discounted price until October 2nd, so you have plenty of time to make up your mind, and you will see the clues, you will see the people knitting it. So you can wait for the first clue to be revealed if you like. You can wait for August 21st, and then you see the first clue that people will be knitting on Instagram or on Ravelry, and you will you can ask me and I can send you a picture of the first clue if you like, and then you can decide if it's something that you do like and you want to join at the first clue and start with the others and continue with the others. Or you can wait for the full design reveal. Really, if you have any doubt, please just yeah, don't hop in blindly if you have any fear that this might be something that you will not like. As a designer, I think the worst thing is to take a bit of your money and a lot of your time for something that you end up not liking. So I encourage you to listen to everything that I'm going to say, look at the examples that I'm going to give you so that you can sort of see if you're in it or not, and if you're in the middle, unsure, just wait a little bit maybe for the first clue and then you can make up your mind. But as far as the project, as I think I said everything, yes. So as far as the project, it is a cowl. It is a long tube cowl. So you start it with a provisional cast on, you join in around, you knit a tube basically that is about 128 centimeters long. You have all the measurements including the imperial units in the pattern pages. 128 centimeters long, so that you can wrap it twice around you, and it's like, well, it's not too snug, it's not too loose, but you can also wear it longer like this. And at the end you graft the two ends together to close the tubes and you have a finished long tube cowl. Now this means that the shape is pretty much, it's it's a tube, alright? So it's a rectangular tube, that's it. There's no mystery in the shape or in the type of project, it just stays like this, that's how it is. Now, the cowl features stranded colorwork, so colorwork motifs, and this is where the theme of the mystery knit-along resides, because this knit-along was designed after the major arcana cards of tarot. So I collect tarot cards for their artistic abilities. Basically, you can find a lot of really gorgeous artwork around tarot, around oracle sets of cards, and basically, yeah, it's a little game, and at the same time you have the opportunity to support a bunch of different artists that makes absolutely gorgeous, beautiful illustrations. So I've been collecting tarot cards for a while. It is sort of another hobby of mine, and yeah, I think you kind of get the point that from illustrations, drawing, color work, and so that is how the idea of making this project came to me. I have represented in color work the 22 cards of the major arcana in tarot, so that is what the cowl is made out of. Now, as far as the style of the motifs go, basically each card is represented, so each card holds about like 20 rounds, and that is why the cowl is a mystery, because the motifs change every time. This is where the surprise is for the MKAL, is that the motifs will change every 20-ish rows approximately, and I have grouped the 22 cards in sets of 3 to 5 cards depending on the clue, and so you will discover new bands of motifs, and in certain points, in some places in the cowl, the motifs merge into one another in a fun way, which is also part of the surprise. But yes, the mystery part is only the colorwork motif that changes all the time. So I know some people who have participated in mystery knit-alongs have been a bit sad that in the end there wasn't that much surprise, so I just want to be very upfront about this, that the mystery in this mystery knit-along is all about the colorwork drawing that change very frequently. So, 22 major arcana cards. As far as the style of the colorwork goes, so I have put up a Ravelry bundle of favorites. So I have collected a bunch of patterns that I've seen on Ravelry that sort of give the same vibe as as far as colorwork goes, so that you sort of get what I'm about to say. So if you want to have a look at that, if you can access Ravelry at the moment and you want to have a look at that, feel free to look for the link in the video description. Basically, the motifs, they're not minimalistic, geometric, abstract thing. If you're into very modern, sharp geometrical lines, things that are like very abstract, if you only like minimalist colorwork, this is not the style that this will have. The motifs are a bit, there are some geometrical motifs, but they're a bit figurative as well. They're small motifs, they're my own interpretation of the symbols, and they're not in your face tarot either, so the cowl remains fairly wearable. It's not too extravagant, witchy kind of mood, because the motifs are small. There's no huge skull or snake or anything to explicit in terms of the theme. Because if you wouldn't know about tarot and if you don't know the meanings of the cards, you can't really make the connection. Nevertheless, the motifs are figurative, so this is sort of the style of the colorwork. Again, if you're unsure of whether this is something that you would like and that you would like to wear, please maybe wait for the first clue. The cowl is there's no is obviously accessible to any and all genders. There is no restriction as to who can knit or wear this. Now, did I say everything? Yes, so with every clue, basically, you will get the chart, the colorwork chart, with the cards that this clue has, and you will have a short description of the tarot card so that you can understand sort of why I drew this motif for this tarot card. It's just a few, 1 to 3 lines every time, explaining you the connections so that those of you who are interested can appreciate the process behind the creation of these motifs. Now, did I say everything regarding the theme and everything? Yes. Now, I'm going to get into more technical details of the project so that you can see what you need to prepare for it, and if crafting wise it's going to be something for you. So, like I said, the knit-along is made of 6 clues. So each clue took me about 5 hours to knit. Now I timed myself. I'm gonna give you the numbers basically. The KAL has 120 stitches in round, and each clue is about 50 to 60 rounds. So we're in fingering weight. I will give you the detail about yarn and gauge later, but I knit mine on 3mm needles, fingering weight gauge, and so 120 stitches, 60 rounds. Color work. So the color work is only using 2 colors at a time, and so you knit it however you like to knit stranded color work. The color work is not difficult in the sense that the motifs are small, and that you can put markers in between, but there are loads of floats to catch. It's pretty doable, and also since it's a tube and the wrong side will not be accessible, you have a bit more leverage in these types of projects regarding floats. But I do recommend that you do catch the floats whenever necessary. So there are floats to catch, and I don't think the pattern is difficult. Like I said, it's color work in the round. So I would suggest that if you have never done color work, maybe you can train a little bit before if you want to keep up with the clues. Like I said, I timed myself. It took me 5 hours to knit 1 clue. Now, I don't knit very fast. I have lots of time to knit, but I knit pretty slowly. I'm clumsy. I lose my yarn, I lose the needles. I also forgot to pause the timer when I was taking breaks. So yeah, 5 hours is like a generous time estimation for a medium pace knitter that has already some experience with color work. So I do believe that if you have never done color work and you don't know at all how to manage your tension, you might be a bit slower, but it all depends on how you want to organize yourself, how much knitting time you have. If you do want to keep up with the clues, like making 1 clue every week, this is how much time it will take you. Now, of course, it's not a race and you can do whatever you want. You can finish the KAL in 2 years, nobody cares. But if you just want to receive the clue every week and see the chart and everything and follow up with everyone, but just knit at your own pace, of course, that is perfectly fine. I just know that a lot of people, they like the idea of following up with everyone and just, yeah, keeping track of the clues. So if that is something that you want, plan 5-ish hours of knitting during the weekend, during the week, so that you can keep up with the clues. That is why the clues will be released on Friday in the morning, so that you have the weekend, basically. If you do have a conventional weekend, which I'm very much aware is not the case for everyone. It was never the case for me either, but that's how it is. So, the last clue is a little bit, the last clue that will be released on the 25th of September, I think. I think, let me check. 21 August, 28 August. For September, 11 September, 18 September, 25th September, and October 2nd is the release of the full KAL. So the last clue, which will be released on September 25th, will be slightly longer than the others. So it's just the end, so it's like the final rush to the finish line. But it's slightly longer, but at the same time the motifs are made in a way that makes them go quicker a little bit. It's a funny thing, that last set of cards. So now about keeping up with the mystery thing, and keeping up with the KAL and everything. So I will put up a hashtag on Instagram, which is the page of, I didn't even say the name of the project. So the name of the KAL is the Page of Wands Mystery KAL, because the Page of Wands is my favorite card in the tarot card. It's sort of me, yay. So and I just like the sound of it. So the hashtag for the mystery knit along will be Page of Wands MKAL. So if you want to participate in the knit along and share pictures on Instagram, this is the hashtag that you can use. The hashtag will be written in the pattern as well. Now, I know that a big problem of mystery knit alongs is people being spoiled because they're not fast enough, or because other people are just completely insane and they knit way too quickly. Like I said, it took me 5 hours. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will go much faster than that, because I'm kind of a slow knitter that just drinks every 2 seconds, basically. But yeah, the thing is, even if you get spoiled, the clue, even if you see the pattern on Instagram, because the motifs are small, because there are many little details in them, because a part of the mystery also resides in how the clue merge in one another, in how one card becomes the next card. That is also, in some places of the KAL, part of the fun. I do still think that it's you will not have it completely ruined. You can't see a picture of the clue knitted up and have it ruined because you've seen everything and you know how it's gonna look, because you would have to zoom in at each little motif. You would have to see how each stitch becomes the next one vertically, and like you would have to spend a lot of time looking at the picture of other knitters to ruin the surprise. And if you don't want to be spoiled, I think you will go pretty quickly on those. There is no way for me to forbid people to post the pictures on Instagram, and unfortunately the way Instagram works is that even if you try and if you make a post with multiple pictures, you know, and you put a cover picture not to spoil people, now Instagram puts the pictures back up without the spoil cover, so it's ridiculous. So there is little way that you can avoid being spoiled if you are on Instagram and if you follow people who participate in the mystery knit along as well. But like I said, you would have to look at those pictures for a very long time to actually ruin the surprise, I feel. Myself, having designed the KAL, and when I was knitting on it, I was still having that sort of mind surprise thingy when the knitting was getting built, and I was seeing the motifs get drawn with the colors. It was fun. You do get that feeling with color work a lot, where you just go like, oh, next row, oh, what's it gonna do, oh, this is that. And I had that feeling even though I designed the KAL, so I sort of knew how it was going to look. So yeah, I do feel that if you don't like the spoils thingy in mystery knit-alongs, it's okay. I think you can still manage, and this to emphasize the fact that it is not a race and you don't need to feel the pressure to knit as quickly as possible before anyone else spoils you the clue. Now, there will be as well Ravelry thread, if you can access Ravelry at the moment, if the new update hasn't hasn't made it completely inaccessible to you, I will put up a Ravelry forum threads where you can talk about the Mystery Knit Along. So there will be a thread in English, there will be a thread in French. Please just stay in your thread so that I don't have to handle the two languages at once. It's just more convenient for people who speak one language to just be in their own little lane. I don't want to that sounds so mean, but it's just more convenient for people so that you make sure you understand what everyone else around you is saying. So there will be two Ravelry threads. The English one will be linked in the video description down below. So if you want to chat about the Mystery Knit Along, about your yarn choices, if you want to share your project once you've started knitting on it, then this is the place where you will be able to. I do ask that if you can, like, don't post a picture of the finished clue the morning before I published it, but yeah, this will be a place to chat and enjoy. So I have talked about the length of the clue, the difficulty of the project, which is, like I said, not really difficult. If you have never done color work and you want to keep up with the pace, maybe train a little bit. If you have never done color work, I think this can be a first project, because it's in the round, it's 2 colors per round, and it's small motifs. So now into the proper technical details. The cowl is knit in fingering weight. The gauge is 25 stitches per 30 rows. So I use 3mm needles. You don't need to swatch for cowl. Just use the needles that you know will give you a fabric that you like with the yarn that you have. As far as cable goes, I used the cables that was 60 centimeter long. You can use 40 if you prefer the stitches to be a bit more crowded. It all depends on how comfortable you are with different cable lengths, but yes, 60 centimeter cable maximum. Unless you want to do magic loop, obviously, then probably go for at least 100, if not more. But yes, it's more comfortable knitting it in the round, as you would know if you have done color work. So 25 stitches per 30 rounds. This means that any fingering weight yarn will work. Any fingering weight yarn that you like, that you feel is good to your skin, it will work. The gauge is dense enough that even fancy, sleek, superwash yarns, they're gonna make it work. It's gonna be okay in the color work. Now, obviously, I recommend that you choose a yarn that is more suitable for color work if that is something that you like. So preferably wool, preferably non-superwash, preferably woolen span. All of this, like if it's wool but it's superwash, if it's non-superwash wool but it's worsted span, it's yeah. All of these basically are a benefit, so if you add them up it's great. If you have one, it's already good enough. But like I said, the gauge is tight enough, so actually just pick any light fingering to fingering weight yarn that you want. If you're a beginner in color work and you're not comfortable managing your tension, just know that color work friendly yarns will make it easier for you. So these are wool, non-superwash, woolen spans, any of these characteristics, obviously all together as well, they make color work easier. Now, you need to use solid colors or semi-solid colors. The motifs are a bit too detailed in some places to look good in speckles or variegated yarns. If you do that, the motifs will not show very well. I don't recommend it. Unless you have like a white background and a variegated yarn that is variegated in the same tones, like say you have a nuanced blue, but it's always very sharply in contrast with the white, maybe this will work. But I do recommend that you use semi-solids or solid yarns, just so that you're sure that the color work will look good and that you're safe on that part. So I used 3 colors. You can use only 2. So first of all, the main color, your main background color, I recommend that you pick a neutral. So I used a light gray. I recommend a light background and a dark contrast color. You can reverse it if you like, but your color is gonna look very dark. But you know, it's yeah, I just find it's a little bit more subtle if the background is a light neutral. Light gray, light beige, cream, soft maroons, like really light sort of neutral colors will have my preference for this. Well, my preference is just that I recommend that this will be the best solution for you. Now, after you have your main color, your neutral color, which will be the background, you need the color that makes the motif. Pick a color that you like. That is very important. I had some people telling me that they've participated in mystery knit-alongs and they were disappointed in the result because they didn't like the colors they chose. Like, just pick a color that you know you like, because it will be the main focus. It will form the motifs. So, how to pick a color, a contrast color in color work? They need to be in sharp contrast. Again, the motifs are quite detailed, so if you don't have a sharp enough contrast, the motifs might not show well enough. So the way you can see if the colors that you pick work, take a black and white pictures of the colors that you are considering, and if you see them different enough, then they are contrasting enough, and it will for sure be good. There are some exceptions. You can make very subtle color work, which is really pretty, and I actually really like this. But for the purpose of making sure that you can see the motifs and that you are not disappointed, if you know you don't want to risk the light contrast thingy, just pick a sharp enough contrast. Pick a color that you like, that contrasts well, because this will be the main feature of the cowl. This will make all the motifs. Now you can stop there, this is fine, but if you like, you can add a third color, and this will be very small amounts in the cowl. So again, the color work is only 2 colors at a time, so you will have this for the vast majority, and in just some, like maybe it's 10 centimeters altogether, you will have these two together. So you don't have to, but if you want a third color, it's just that I thought that this looked too good, right? So if you do want another contrast color, again, same rule. It needs to be very contrasting with the main color. And then for aesthetical purposes, I recommend that you pick a color that sort of goes well with your first contrast color. So, for example, these two are pretty warm colors, right? This is a pretty warm maroony burgundy with the ochre mustardy color. So they go well together. If your first contrast color is a cool tone, like a blue or green or a very bluish purple, you take like a bright pink or something very cold as well. Just either take 2 warm colors, 2 cold colors, or maybe make a gradient. Like I could have had a lighter version, a darker version of this, or a lighter version of burgundy. You know, just take, I don't know, a yellow and then a dark orange, a light medium blue and then a dark teal. You know, just you can make gradients as well, but I think it looks better if the contrast color sort of look connected. So this is, as far as color goes, I personally think it's easier to choose color for color work, even if you don't know the motif, because you have some boundaries. A neutral color, preferably light, but if you do want to take a solid black yarn and then have a lighter color, that can be fun as well. Just know that it will look very dark. But neutral, a color that contrasts well and that you love, and another color in the same sort of mood as the first contrast one. So this is it for the colors. now, of course, before the reveal of the first clue, as you are looking for yarn, we have 3 weeks, so you can send pictures on Ravelry or on Instagram using the hashtag, and ask me or ask people what they think about this color combo. Of course, I will be able to say more yes or no, but as far as does this look good, everyone will be able to sort of help you decide about your color choice. So you are free to use any color that you like. Obviously, these are just recommendations to make sure that you are the happiest possible about your project. Same goes for yarn. Like I said, light fingering to fingering weight yarns, any works, preferably wool, I think is the main sort of point there. I personally use Knitting for Olive Merino, which is 100% merino, extra fine merino. It's a rather light merino that blooms pretty well. It's is it 4-ply? Yes, I think it's 4-ply. But yes, it's a pretty good soft, colorwork friendly yarn. It's not too rustic either, so yeah, this is a very good yarn for the project. Obviously, I highly recommend that if you have access to Knitting for Olive, I recommend that you try it out. But a bunch of different yarn will work really well. Filcolana Saga, for example, which is their very fine wool, will work really well. Filcolana Arwetta, which is their sock yarn, fingering weight sock yarn, will work very well as well. You will have a more crisp result, but it will work very fine. Holst Garn, Supersoft will work very nicely as well. You might end up having a slightly tighter gauge, but again, as we're talking about an accessory, you might just use a little bit more yarn, have a slightly smaller cowl, but I think the gauge is easy to achieve in Holst Garn Supersoft as well. What else was I thinking? Any sort of sock yarn that you have, whether it's from commercial brands, whether it's from indie dyers, this will work fine. Same for any pure merino. Like, the possibilities are endless. You do not need to get any specific yarn for this. I recommend Knitting for Olive because I think it's a lovely yarn and the color palette is astonishing. But there are lots of alternatives, lots of yarns that look like this and that will give you a great result. I will be putting as well in the video description a link to my Google Doc about affordable, budget-friendly yarns, basically. I have compiled a list of yarns that I have personally tried, so that is the criteria, is that I must know the yarn. And basically you have the brand, the yarn type, what's it's good for, what I used it for and recommend it, whether it's good for colorwork, for cables, for summer knitting, for anything. Some characteristic about the yarn: is it very drapey, is it a bit rough to the skin, or on the contrary, is it surprisingly soft, is it very round and have a sharp definition. And you also have the price and the price per meter. So these are the prices found in Europe or on the website of the brand whenever available. So yeah, they're the price that I found in France, here, or in Europe. But all of those are budget-friendly yarns that go for less than 0.050 euro per meter. So yes, basically they're really affordable yarns, and a lot of them are colorwork friendly yarns. So if you're looking for inspiration, you can maybe check that document. You do not have to use hand-dyed yarn for this mystery knit-along. There is no criteria, there is no mandatory thing to get or do, besides getting a pattern, I guess. but everyone is welcome and every type of yarn is welcome. And I knitted my sample out of an affordable yarn, and I think it looks amazing. So there is no gatekeeping of you can only knit this mystery knit along if you use hand-dyed yarns. There is no kits to buy from Knitting for Olive or from anyone else. Well, maybe some people will make kits, but I don't know. I don't know about it, but if they do, that's very cool. But there is no obligation to get any sort of yarn for this mystery knit along. And yes, I hope these this will help you sort of get an idea of what type of yarn you need. Again, everything that I am talking about here is written in a little bit more of an organized form in the pattern page on Ravelry and on PayHip. So if you want something that is a little bit less messy, feel free to have a look at the written thing, and I have put all the information regarding yarn choice, needle skills necessary for the pattern in the pattern pages. So that is it. I do believe I have said everything. Yes, as far as yardage goes, again the specifics are in the pattern pages, but you need about a little bit less than 600 meters of the main color, 400 meters of the first contrast color, and 25 to 30 meters of the third color, so the second contrast color. Obviously, if you only use one contrast color, you need the two amounts combined, but yes, basically overall 600 meter, 400, and I think it's 25 or something. That is roughly the estimates. The more precise ones are on the Ravelry and PayHip pages. I forgot about them. So yes, I believe I have said everything. Yes. So again, the pattern is currently available for sale on my Ravelry and my PayHip stores. So please, if you go through PayHip, don't forget to tick the box. When you purchase a pattern on PayHip, you have a box that says send me product updates via email. You have to tick it, because then when I will send the new files, the clues, every week via PayHip, if you didn't tick that box, you will not receive the email, and you will have to tell me, and I will have to manually send it to you, which I will do, but it will just take a little bit more time for me. So please, if you buy a pattern through PayHip, tick that box about send me product updates. I do not send any other newsletters, so there will not be any promotion mail or anything. It is just the pattern updates and the clues for this mystery knit-alongs. As far as Ravelry goes, you will automatically get the updates once the new clues are added into the pattern. So you will get the email and the message from Ravelry that you can download the clue and that it's available for you to start knitting on it. So the pattern is at a discounted price for now until the full release. So yeah, if this is something that you would like to do and you want to join me for this little project, I would be very grateful for your support, and I'm really curious to see what type of yarn you're going to choose, what color combination you're gonna go for. And yeah, I really hope that you like the idea and that you're as excited as I am for it. Yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this little presentation, and yes, let me know in the comments if you have any questions, if I forgot to say anything. I will be completely available to answer any questions and to complete any possible missing information. So yes, thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you soon in another podcast episode, and yeah, have a lovely time.